What's up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again, guys. Here with 2014 Regan Smith alternate paint scheme from the NASCAR Nationwide Series in the studio. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, folks, it's time to take a closer look at this diecast from 11 years ago. And yes, time does fly by. You have the Junior Motorsports decal there, one of the many diecasts produced in 2014 from Junior Motorsports, whether it was Regan Smith or Chase Elliott or all the different other drivers who driven the 5 car, the 88, you know, the Kevin Harvicks, Casey Kane's, X, Y, and Z. You have Regan Smith right there. I miss Regan Smith on the racetrack, man. I was a big fan of him. You know, when he drove the 78 car, he drove the 7 car, 78 back in the NASCAR Cup Series. And it was so much fun to watch in the Xfinity Series, man. He was a lot of fun. He was competitive. He was good. The box design for 2014 is really interesting here. It's just a soft little gradient, but you do see a little bit of kind of design mesh around there. Let's go ahead and open up this diecast. And here we go, fellas, with today's diecast review. And just check out how cool this paint scheme is, fellas. I mean, it's so cool, man. Picked this one up from our good friends over there at Circle B Diecast. They still have this car in stock at the time of this video, and you won't even believe the price for it. I think it was like $4, something like that. Tap in, go ahead and check it out. And of course, you can use that promo code down below in the description to help you save on shipping as well. So you get a car that's discounted, right? As long as the whole order, which they have a boatload of these older diecasts, right? So you could get all kinds of, you know, some of your favorite drivers, nationwide cars and stuff. Any orders $30 or more, put the code in, boom, there you go. Now you got a whole bunch of savings headed your way. Got Ragu right there on the hood of the diecast. You have Nationwide on the front banner, trying to get the focus of the camera. Sometimes the focus of the camera reacts differently depending on the paint scheme. So try to get all that accurate. Now, one thing that was always interesting about the early Chevrolet Camaro Xfinity cars, is this little area right here. I don't remember if this was decaled only or if this was actually a part of the car. Considering this is like one of the most important parts of the car is this little lip at the top of the nose. I don't think that's actually a vent, but I could be tripping. Was that actually on the car, like an indentation there? That would be crazy. So go to the front end of the Camaro right here. You have this very pointy Chevrolet Camaro front end. They would kind of walk away from that, so to speak, for their NASCAR Cup Series program in 2020. They kind of made it more of a smooth Camaro front end. But the 2014, 2013 Camaro is very, very pointy. Same as 2018 and 2019 Cup variants. Camaro there, number 7, got Moog. What is that? Edelbrock, Mail Cop, and Sunoco. You have this giant yellow splitter there, which looks pretty nice. Got Junior Motorsports on the front. Go to the left side of the diecast, and you have this gradient design that is very similar to the logo design, to be honest with you. So imagine the whole car as the Ragu logo without the wording there. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Got the iconic JRM number 7. Got Regan Smith. You have your B post decal there, which has Safety Clean and some other decals I don't recognize. Got Exalta right there, Colfax.org. Got Ragu, America's _1 pasta sauce. I don't remember the backstory or the commercial or what all this is about. I have no idea. I got Breyers, which I think is ice cream. You have Tax Slayer there. You got American Ethanol Racing Electronics, I think that is. Then you have Goodies Fast Relief Fire Alarm. You have NASCAR Nationwide Series. This was the final year of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Get NASCAR Race Car, Goodyear, Mechanics here, Holly 3M, Edelbrock, Sunoco, MSD, ARP, Jegs. Go to the back end of the diecast. You have America's #1 pasta sauce. And check out them crazy spoilers that we used to have back in the NASCAR Nationwide and early Xfinity days. Now, they called this, for the fans nowadays who might be tuning in, they never watched any of this because, unfortunately, we're all getting old. And I realized there's another generation coming up now that is watching NASCAR. They used to call these the dog years, right? And the way the rules would work is some tracks you could run only one of them. Some tracks mandated you had to run both of them. And it basically was like an option, right? You could choose to run only one of the dog ears, they called them, or winglets, or I think they're called dog ears, ironically enough. and basically it would create less downforce, but it would also create less drag down the straightaway. So it's it's kind of the what do you want, corner speed or do you want straight line speed? Which one do you prefer? That kind of added a little bit of strategy and elements to your weekend, so to speak. You got Mac Tools right there. You got 2 Chevrolet logos. I don't know about that, but got Bosch. I got the number 7. The left side of the diecast, you can see the gradient once again. It's not the most perfect gradient, but I will say though, like, sometimes these gradients are supposed to be pixelated. It's extremely difficult to get a very smooth gradient. I don't know how realistic this paint scheme is to the real car, but like you see all the little fine pixels on the artwork and stuff, and then you kind of see large pixels on the gradient. It might be intended to be designed this way because, I mean, you see how sharp the printing is on the Goodyear decal, right? So they're clearly capable of doing so. That might be intended that way. You have the side skirt, which actually looks really clean. I like that. The black side skirt with the black spoiler. And what's so cool is that the NASCAR Xfinity Series still in 2025 runs the body style of this. For the last 15 years, we have had the same style Xfinity car. And to be honest with you, I love it. And I think we're going to have it for quite some time, if I had to guess, because you have all the Gen 6 cars. You have all the Gen 5 cars. They made a massive amount of them, right? In their era, you would actually build like almost everything in shop. So you would have Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing where they were basically having to make new cars every month, it seemed, for some of these racetracks just to be competitive, right? And then they would sell them out to the smaller teams, and then you would inevitably have so much surplus of parts after the Gen 6 car was retired from the Cup Series that it would trickle down to the Xfinity Series. My point is that there was such a plethora of Gen 5 cars, and obviously nowadays Gen 6 cars still floating around. It makes sense for the NASCAR Xfinity Series to continue to use a significant amount of those Gen 5 and Gen 6 chassis, like ARCA. The reason why the Gen 6 car continues to live on in ARCA is because you had teams like Penske and Hendrick and Joe Gibbs Racing producing a megalodon amount of those race cars, because if they didn't, they would have never won championships. They had to keep, oh, well, this car is 0.2 of a second faster at one racetrack. Oh, it's not good enough. Let's make another one. Let's make another one. And you just get a crap load of parts. And they can't race them in the Cup Series, so they sell them and, part them out to different teams. Or they might even modify them slightly and just continue to run them under their Xfinity team. Like Hendrick has an Xfinity team, Joe Gibbs Racing, X, Y, and Z. So they can take their really competitive retired Cup cars and then modify them. So it's fascinating. The history with the NASCAR chassis is one of the coolest things in the sport's history. Like some of the road course trucks, the chassis have literally been ran since the 2000s because the truck chassis don't change barely at all, right? If you look at a 2005 truck chassis and a 2025 truck chassis, they're so freaking similar. Like just the fuselage of it, right? The general structure is so similar that an expert team can modify that. And the Truck Series barely runs road courses. So if you have a really good road course chassis that ran at 2013 at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, you could still run it in 2025. So my point is, it's just fascinating to see how the 2010 era Xfinity car continues to live on, albeit, different, nose and tail design, because there were so many Gen 5 and Gen 6 chassis around. It just makes sense for the sport. And inevitably, it actually races pretty darn good on the racetrack. Which, I'm going to end the video on this. I'm really curious what's going to happen with the Gen 7 chassis. Or, like, once the Gen 7 car is retired, if they ever make another generation car, what are they going to do with the Gen 7 car? Like, is it going to another series? Is it going to be upscaled to the Generation 8 or whatever they call it? I have no idea, but it's kind of something I like to think about. So that's all for now. I know that's completely off topic, but that's what I think about when I think about these older Xfinity cars. Is they're the same car still to this day. I love that. I think it's fascinating how they can take chassis that Jimmy Johnson drove at Kansas in the early 2010s and they can bring it up to speed here in the 2020s, the mid-2020s, in fact, and still win races and be competitive to an extent if it was, maintained good enough. That's all for now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Highly recommend this diecast, guys. They got all kinds of great Xfinity cars over there. Highly recommend this one. This is one of my favorite alternate paint schemes. But if you do pick up this one, get the Napa car from 2014 as well that Regan Smith had. Highly, highly recommend them. Diecast Buffet. Have a blessed one. Signing off.